Welcome to Cook30 for Kids. I'm Chef Jeremy Dixon from the Revive Cafes in Auckland, New Zealand. And today I'm going to share with you some restaurant quality food that you can cook in your very own home kitchen. Cook30 for Kids food is all about using healthy, whole food ingredients so we can have lots of energy and vitality. God wants us to be in good health, so it's important that we feed our body with good stuff, not junk food. So today we have two very special guest stars. We have Anjali from Arkansas and Toby from Illinois. Welcome to Cook30 for Kids.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's awesome of you to be here. So just so you can get to know them a bit, we're going to ask them some questions and find a little bit about them. So firstly, Toby, how old are you?
I'm 14.
14, and where were you born originally?
I was originally born in New Zealand.
New Zealand. He's from New Zealand as well, just like me, although you've spent quite a few years in America, haven't you?
Yeah, like 7 years.
Okay, 7 years, okay. So you're probably more American than New Zealand by now.
Yep.
So your question for today is, if there was a country you could visit anywhere in the world, where would you visit?
I really wanted to visit France.
France. Why France?
It's really, really cool architecture there.
Okay, awesome. That's great. And Anjali, you come from Arkansas, and how old are you?
I am 11, I'm going to be 12 next month.
11 going on 12, excellent. And where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world?
Well, I would go to India because that was where I was originally born.
Yes.
So I want to go back and meet my relatives there.
Oh, wonderful, that's great. And another question for you, what is your favourite vegetable?
Well, my favourite vegetable has to be carrots. I love carrots. Yeah.
Okay, no carrots on the menu today. And Toby, what's your favourite vegetable?
I like Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprout. How many kids would say Brussels sprouts is their favourite vegetable? You are a star. 1 in a million. They can actually be really nice if you cook them properly, can't they?
Yeah.
That's great. Fantastic. Well, thanks, guys. So what is on the menu today?
Well, on the menu we have BBQ Bake Beans with avocado and crispy Carraway potatoes. Now that sounds really good.
And for dessert, we have Bircher Muesli glasses with berries. That sounds tasty.
Let's get started in the kitchen. So before we start, very important in restaurant land is you've got to make sure you get organised and planned and prepare. So we've got a clear bench, we've got pans on the stove ready to go, we've got ingredients ready, and a great attitude. Woohoo! Let's get started. So we're going to start with the item that's going to take the longest, and that is the Bircher Muesli. Now, Bircher Muesli is kind of like think of it as like a moist granola or a wet granola. And generally you put it in the fridge overnight to have the next morning, but if you get onto it quickly, you can actually make it in about half an hour. So we'll get started with that. So we're just going to start with a bowl, and we're going to just fire some really yummy ingredients into there. So we're first going to start off with some oats, just some normally quick oats, just your basic porridgey kind of oats. So Angie, if you want to put a cupful in there,
okay.
I think there's a cup measure over there somewhere.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, thank you.
And Toby, if you can start grating some apple on this board here. So I'm going to put some grated apple in. Grated apple adds lovely moisture to it, so if you can grate that.
Okay.
Don't put the core in, just everything else. Yep, so 1 cup.
Okay,
That's a 1 cup. 1 cup measure. So we're going to start with oats and then apple. Just double check my recipe here. We're then going to put in some almond meal. And almond meal is basically just almonds that's been kind of ground up really, really fine. If you want to, you can actually just grind up the almond yourself. But you can buy it in the shops like this as well. Look, this has got the child seal on. I better cut it off.
What do you use to ground the almonds?
You can use a coffee grinder to grind it. That's probably the best thing to grind it if you want to. Great, put a cup in there of that. Cool. And we'll put half a cup of this. I'll just put half a cup of that in there. Whoop, there we go. Half a cup of almond meal. Brilliant. We're also going to put in a cup of almond milk. So if you can measure that, I'll measure that in. You can use any milk you want. And this recipe is one of those really flexible recipes where you can just customise it with your favourite milks, your favourite flours. It's just one of those flexible flexible recipes, so it's really handy.
Can we use, instead of using almond milk, can we use like soy milk or things like that?
Soy milk, yeah, anything, macadamia milks, any milk you want. So.
Okay.
What about fruits, like any kind of different fruit that would taste good?
Exactly, so that's where we're going to add some fruit. Now we're going to add some cranberries. We're going to add about 1/4 cup of cranberries. Put it in there, just keep mixing, lovely.
Yum, that looks really good.
We're going to add some slivered almonds. You see these almonds? Now what do they remind you of?
Toenails?
My nieces call them toenail clippings, but they're almonds. So, I'm going to put some of those in. That'll add an extra bit of crunch in there as well. So there we go, some some almonds in there. I'm just going to put a little bit of allspice, just a touch, just to give a little bit of a kind of a cinnamony, nutmeggy kind of flavour to kind of just a little bit, probably about 1/4 teaspoon.
Can we use different kinds of spices in this, like something similar to allspice?
Yes, you could do. You kind of don't want to spice it up too much. It's kind of a breakfast thing, so just a very subtle hint there.
Should I put the apples
Put
in
the
there?
apple in. That's great. And if you want to, just put it in there. And we'll just, if you want to cut that orange in half.
Okay.
And we'll put some orange juice in, the juice of 1 orange. What else have we got here? I think that's pretty much it. We've got almond meal over there. Just put this out the way. And
do I just squeeze it in?
Just squeeze it in. You do one, I'll do one as well.
Okay.
Squeeze it in like that. Oop, try not to get any on each other. Don't want to have a food fight here. I might just put a bit more almond milk in, just to give it a bit of a mix around. Lovely. So that is the Bircher Muesli kind of as you can see, it's kind of moist and it's kind of oaty, and those oats will kind of swell up and they'll become really nice and kind of moist, and it's a great kind of base for Bircher Muesli. Now, I've got friends who have started making Bircher Muesli as their main breakfast item, and they say it's transformed their lives. You can make it before you go to bed at night, get up in the morning, and you've got an instant breakfast ready to go that tastes great. So it's really, really good. So I'm going to put that I'm just going to put that in the fridge just to start to kind of mush together. Ideally, you do it overnight, but we're just going to do it in half an hour, just so we can keep things moving here.
So the oat soaks up the milk and it kind of becomes...
Yeah, it kind of develops a creamy texture, which is really nice.
So you just eat it like that?
Exactly, yes. Just give a quick throw those things in the rubbish there, Toby.
Okay.
And we'll move on to the next part of our culinary adventure. So we're doing a breakfast theme today, obviously. So we've got baked beans, potatoes, and Bircher Muesli. So it's kind of a different breakfast take on breakfast. So just some different things there that we can use. So the next thing we're going to start making is the baked beans. So you can get baked beans in a can, and you can unwind a can, but it's much more exciting to make them yourself and much more flavoursome. So we're going to start cutting some onions. So if you can perhaps Anjali, you can cut some onions. I'll just clear some of this. Just clear some of this carrot off, apple off here. There we go.
Thank you.
That's okay. It's really hard to keep a clear workspace when you're cooking, but do the best you can. So we're going to turn the gas on and basically start cooking up some onions as the first part of it. And Toby, if you can start making some of those cans, there should be a can over there. So we're going to use 2 types of beans today, and you can use any type you want. We're going to use some black-eyed peas and some pinto beans. You could use white beans or kind of any beans you want, but they're kind of like whitish kind of end of the bean spectrum is nicer. So if you can...
How do you use this can opener? Looks so complicated.
Well, you just basically grab this and you slice it on like that, and you hold this really tight and just keep turning.
Okay.
So give those a go. And if you can drain them out and get them ready to get rid of the lid, that'd be great. So just warming this up a little bit here. How are you going with the onions? Oh, yeah, so onion. Oh, you're doing a great job. Didn't even give you any instruction. So you basically just slice them one way, then slice them the other way. And when you're using knives, as you're doing there very well, is you basically try and slice the knife rather than, so with the knife, try and, that's doing great there. So try and slide it rather than just push it down like that. And that's great. If you keep it together like that, you're a bit of a knife expert there. That knife's just about bigger than you. You're handling it very well. So, yep, slice it. That's wonderful, going very well. Keep the blade away from your thumb there. Don't want to have any fingers chopped. And if you're using sharp knives at home, it's a great skill to learn, but make sure you get your parents to supervise and they can help you and train you and you can learn how to do it. So I really love these little black-eyed beans. Now you can actually make them yourself by just soaking them and cooking them yourself, or having canned beans in your pantry or cupboard is a really great protein source. It's plant-based and really healthy, full of protein. So yeah, make sure you eat lots of great beans. So that's those. So what else do we have? We've got some tomatoes as well. So this is the main thing here. We're going to get some garlic. So I'm just going to use a garlic press here. This is a garlic press that Miss Brenda, who's the General Manager of the 3ABN Kids Network, gave me. It's the best garlic press in the world.
Yeah, my mom has one that's kind of like that.
Is she? Oh, great. So we're going to just get that ready to slide. Put the onion in. I'll just get this underway. Let's put the onion in the pan. A little bit of olive oil.
Do you put the beans in the pan too?
Not yet. We'll get the onions sautéed first.
Okay.
So sautéed. So
Can you use any other onion except red onion?
You can use red onion or any other onion you want. I quite like using red onion because red onion is a bit more colourful. It's probably got a similar flavour, but it's just got nicer colour, so that's generally my favourite. You can use either one. That's looking good. If you're going to grab those, put them in, squeeze the garlic in, and the dish is underway. Look at that. Now the spice we're going to use today to give these a little bit of a kind of a smoky flavour is one of my favourite spices, and that is smoked paprika. So Toby, if you're going to grab the smoked paprika there.
Sure.
And we're just going to sprinkle that in here. So just sprinkle, probably on about a tablespoon, so quite a lot actually. And it's got a really nice red colour and it's got a really nice smoky taste. So
man, it smells great too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So actually heating up there will kind of activate the spice.
Is that good?
Yep, that's good. Perfect. Probably a little bit more actually. Probably just under a tablespoon there. So we've got it on high gas here. Get these onions.
It gives a great color too.
It does. This just smells amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll give those a couple of minutes just to kind of get soft. So it probably takes 2 or 3 minutes. So Toby, if you can just keep stirring those.
Sure.
And that'll be wonderful. And we're going to start on our next part of the breakfast, and that is the potatoes. So when you have potatoes, one of the things you often end up with is leftover potatoes. So these were left over from yesterday, and they just boiled potatoes that are left over from another meal, and they actually you can actually make really nice potatoes with them. So if I get you these are left over, you can just cut them kind of in half.
Okay.
So they kind of just a bit smaller. They're a little bit big at the moment, so we'll just kind of cut them into.
Like this?
Yep, just into half, so they're just a little bit smaller. Put the knife through them. And again, they're going to kind of get a little bit mushed up when we cook them, so you don't need to be too fussy, but it's nice to start with a little bit more. And the more surface area you have, the more kind of flavour you're going to have per bite. So if you start with a whole potato, you haven't got much surface area, but if you cut a whole potato into 20 pieces, you've got much more surface area to soak up the flavour.
How long do the potatoes last in the fridge?
Probably no more than a day or so, really. You don't want to go too long. You kind of taste that leftover potato kind of a feel.
Yeah.
I think that's almost ready there. Sorry, we're going to put the tomatoes in. So I've just got some diced tomatoes. So if you can stir that around.
Okay.
Yep, just give it a good stir. Just going to add some salt here. Oh, before we do, we'll put those into that pan over there, Anjali.
Okay.
On the left, if you can transport those across there.
Wow, the tomatoes have a really strong smell too.
They're great. So we're just going to add just a little bit of salt, half a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to add some honey for sweetening. You could use agave or date puree or maple syrup. Just add that there. When using tomatoes have quite an acidic kind of a taste, so you kind of want to add a little bit of sweetener generally when using tomatoes, just to kind of offset that and just kind of balance it. That's pretty much all the main things there. Look at that.
Don't we need to add any oil?
Yes, we do. We do need to add oil. So we're going to add about a tablespoon of oil to these potatoes. And if you just want to give it a little bit of a stir, be really gentle with them. We don't mind them being broken up and kind of crumbled a little bit, but we want to make sure we don't really want mashed potatoes. We want to make sure we've got potatoes that are a little bit extra. I might actually do a few more. That's looking a little bit empty there, so I'll cut up a few more just to make the pan a little bit full. We want to make sure that our presentation dish looks nice and full and wonderful.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It looks really delicious already.
It is, and we're only halfway there. Look at that. So we're making excellent, excellent progress.
So how would you know if this is ready or not?
Just when it starts to go brown generally, so it'll start sizzling and eventually go brown and will kind of be a bit more crispy, so that's what the end texture we want. If you've just joined us on Cook30 for Kids, we're having so much fun in the kitchen. We have Toby from Illinois and Angelie from Arkansas. What is on the menu today, guys?
Well, we have barbecue baked beans with avocado and crispy caraway potatoes.
And for dessert, we have Bircher Muesli glasses with berries.
So everything's going to plan. We're making excellent progress. So with these potatoes, we're going to use a seed called caraway seeds. Have you guys heard of caraway seeds before?
No.
This little seed, I'll show you some here. I'll pour some out on the board. So they're a little seed. It kind of looks like cumin seeds, except they're different.
Oh, I've seen those before, I think.
Yeah, so have a try one.
Oh, my mom uses some.
You try. They've got a really nice kind of a almost pepperminty kind of a taste to them. But when they're fried up with potatoes, they taste amazing. They had a really lovely flavour. My mum actually uses caraway seeds in a lot of her cooking. It's really delicious. So we've got about probably a teaspoon left in this jar.
Okay.
So we're just going to put it on here. I'm just going to make sure, we're just going to make a little area here.
Okay.
We kind of want it to make sure it gets cooked properly. So we're just going to put a little bit there. Put those caraway seeds there. And just put a little bit of extra oil on them. Just so we want to make sure they actually do get kind of cooked a little bit. So we'll just let them mingle there. So if you want to stir them in your own little kind of part of the pan. Now, if we mix them up with the potatoes, they could be quite a few that don't end up getting cooked and the beautiful flavours don't come out of them. So you want to make sure they get a really good chance to have a good satay experience.
They smell really good.
They sure do. So they're coming along well there. While we're here, we'll put some salt in with the potatoes. So about half a teaspoon of salt. You may need to adjust. All salts are kind of different, so we'll just kind of put some salt on there.
Can we use sea salt as well?
Sea salt's excellent. Well, actually, my favourite salt is Himalayan salt.
The pink one?
The pink Himalayan salt. That's really lovely. So it's got lots of, I think it's got about 81 minerals in it, so it's a really lovely salt to use. So with cooking these, you've got lots and lots of options. So just try all the different variants of the ingredients, and the more you try, the more you learn, and the more delicious that your dishes will become.
So do we mix this in together now?
Just leave it for a little bit longer. We want to give them a few minutes, kind of having a bit of a heated experience. Just pour the beans in.
Oh, you have two different kinds?
Yeah, so that's black-eyed beans and pinto beans. So they're just kind of the two beans.
So you can use any kind of bean you want?
Yep, any kind. But you probably want to, being a baked beans, it's kind of more leans towards the more lighter beans, like your white beans, your black-eyed beans, all those ones. But yeah, I mean, it's your dish. You can choose anything you want. And one of my little secrets in cooking is if something's not working out or you have missing an ingredient, just change the name of the dish. So if we didn't have any beans, if we had to use chickpeas, we could have called it smoky chickpea tomatoes or something like that. So don't worry about it, just change the name. And if those potatoes end up being really mashy accidentally, what can we call it?
Mashed potato?
Yeah, mashed potato, exactly. So don't worry about it, just change the name of the dish and everyone is happy. If you burn it, what can you call it?
Burnt mashed potato?
Or char-grilled mashed potato might sound a little bit better.
Or
So
smoked mashed potato.
Or smoked mashed potato, exactly. So there's many, many different options there. That's probably enough. You can probably start mixing those around. They've had a couple of minutes to sauté there. And the difference between sauté and sauté, do you know the difference?
Is it just the sound?
It is, but no, there's a difference. So sauté, like as in the store, is when you, like this, what we're doing here is we sauté the onions, we sauté the potatoes, basically adding a little bit of oil and heating to make soft. And a satay is like a peanut dish. Like you might get a satay kebabs or something like that. So that's the two differences there.
Is it the same cooking style, or is it just...
Oh, well, a satay is like a peanut dish. So one's a dish and one's like a technique.
Oh, so that's the name?
Yeah, so sauté is a technique, whereas satay is a name for a peanut dish or a peanut sauce. They're looking pretty good there. Okay, so they're coming along well. So next thing we need to do is, we probably just double check the Bircher.
This smells good and it looks really delicious too.
Yeah.
That's great. So as you can see, the Bircher Muesli is, yeah, it's kind of, it hasn't set fully, but it's kind of a nice kind of creamy texture. So do you guys want to try some? That's one thing you got to do a lot in cooking is actually try things. So we'll try some of this, have a go, see what you think. Grab a spoonful there.
Ooh.
Nice and creamy.
Yeah.
All the flavours there. We're also going to make it even more beautiful with some berries. So in the fridge I've got some nice wild berries that we can use. So we've got some, always looking for new different colours. We've got some raspberries, blueberries and strawberries. At the moment when we're filming it's the middle of summer, so this type of fruit is readily available, which is fantastic. So adding some berries, and you only need a couple just to absolutely transform a dish. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip the board over, because we've been cutting like things like onion on here, and we don't want to actually start cutting strawberries on here. What's it going to taste like?
Strawberry.
Onion,
onion?
strawberry. Mixed
There's nothing
together.
worse than onion flavoured strawberries, I can tell you. So we'll just flip this over, and we're just going to cut them on here. So I'm just going to cut just a couple of strawberries and just prepare some really nice fruit.
Have you tried that before?
What's that?
The onion strawberries?
Oh yes. It is. I've done it with watermelon quite a few times. That's probably the number one I do it on. So So make sure when you change your board or change the side.
Is this well mixed enough, or?
That's mixed really well. That's great. Looking good. Now the other spice I'm going to add to that as well, to make it extra special, is turmeric. And turmeric, if I can find it, here it is. Turmeric adds a really lovely yellow colour.
Yeah.
So we're just going to add just a little sprinkle of turmeric.
My mom uses a lot of turmeric in Indian
Exactly,
food.
yes. So we just want probably about 1/4 teaspoon. You don't need much to add a lot of colour to that there. Just give it a stir around, looking good. So we've got salt in there, so we've got the caraway seeds, a little bit of oil. So those potatoes, which you know, a couple of minutes ago were just bland out of the refrigerator, you probably didn't want to eat. Just a couple of flavours there can really transform them. Looking good. So we've got some really nice glasses to present. So I've got, always look for little glasses. You can actually buy these type of glasses for like $1 each. So it can be very inexpensive to buy some very nice glasses. And all we're going to do is just spoon in the Bircher and present it really well. So as you can see, this looks kind of good, but looks, you know, if you serve this up on the table, you'd think, you know, pretty average. But man, put it into a nice glass like this, and instantly you kind of, you know, everything looks beautiful.
That makes a lot of difference.
Exactly.
And all you got to do is put it in a glass.
Put it in a glass and add some berries, and it will just transform it. So yeah, I encourage you, if you're kind of not, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So if you do want to have a bit more energy in your life, make sure you have a good breakfast. So try this Bircher Muesli, customise it to whatever ingredient you like the best. And like a lot of friends have told me, it just absolutely transforms your life. I mean, God wants to have us to have so much more energy and vitality. He wants us to have good health. So starting your day with a good breakfast is so important. Do you guys know people who are kind of don't have much energy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that, you know, you can, if you've got energy and vitality, you can help people. If you haven't got energy, if you're waking up every morning with no more energy, I mean, you're not going to be any help to the world, are you? You're not going to be able to help people like we want to. So getting on to chopping the strawberries here. They're looking really
I have
good.
finished mixing the potatoes.
I think that's almost ready to go. We should almost be ready to plate up.
Should I turn this down?
I think you can turn that down, yep. So Anjali, if you can go grab that platter from the table.
Sure.
And the baked beans are actually going to serve in this beautiful dish here. So there are some dishes you can cook with that you can serve straight away. Awesome. So what we're just going to put the potatoes, just check it's hot, and just basically just put it on there like this, onto a nice platter. In the fridge, if you can find some parsley, so in the top drawer on the left, there should be parsley, and just a little bit of green will just transform that and make it look amazing. Got it there? Oh, brilliant.
So why do you put the parsley in tissue paper?
Parsley and tissue paper, yes. So keep your herbs in the fridge and some nice moist paper towels. Ta-da, look at that. They look beautiful and fresh and alive. So what makes herbs go dry is the air in the refrigerator will basically dry things out. So if you wrap it in a wet paper towel, it won't dry it out. And if you can keep it in the drawer in your refrigerator that doesn't have air, you know there's some drawers, that even helps more as well, and that won't dry the paper towel out.
Oh.
So all we do is just chop some parsley really finely, like that.
Wow, you cut really fast.
There we go. You kind of get used to it when you're in, and if you can sprinkle some of that over it. So try and just sprinkle it from a height and just kind of just gently over the top of it. Yep, just evenly over it. And when you sprinkle, you want to get some on the sides of the dish as well. Not just on the food, but try and get some on the sides, because that's an important presentation thing. And when you do get dishes with rims like this are the most attractive. Dishes with rims, they kind of frames the food and makes it look really, really good. So the baked beans are nearly ready. Can you get some cilantro that should be next to where the parsley was in the fridge? Just finish that off there. Doesn't that look good? It's looking crispy. And then we've got just a few raspberries, just a couple of bits of fruit, and it's looking really, really good. Some blueberries. There we go, and the strawberries that we've just cut up. And that is a breakfast for a king. Look at that. And you can stop stirring those beans now because they're pretty much done. And we'll just get some cilantro again, just do the same thing, just a little bit of a cut there, use the leaves, and sprinkle over. And this dish is done, and it is ready for the table, ready to serve. Just there. What do you think, guys? Are you looking forward to breakfast?
Can't wait.
I just love how it looks.
It's almost ready to eat. And there you have a delicious breakfast in just 30 minutes. I've garnished these beans with some avocado and some cilantro. The avocado will go really amazing with that. We've got the lovely potatoes there with the caraway seeds, some whole grain bread, and this Bircher Muesli. You guys looking forward to eating it?
Yeah! Sounds delicious.
Alrighty, Toby, can you say grace for us?
Sure. Dear Jesus, please bless this food, and thank you for letting us cook in the kitchen with Chef Jeremy today. Amen.
Amen. Okay, you can serve up the potatoes, Toby, and some toast. Don't forget this, I'll get the avocado on there, that's the best part.
Thank you.
So this is a really yummy breakfast, so make sure you give it a go. As you can see, cooking yummy food in the kitchen does not take
Thank
long
you.
at all, and even kids can do it. So it's very exciting. Thanks, some bread here. Give it a try. And yeah, it's just lots and lots and lots of fun, so give it a go sometime. What do you think?
It's
I
good.
haven't tried it yet.
So a different breakfast that you can try at home. So you're going to give it a go when you get back home?
Yeah.
Very
definitely.
cool. Well, thanks for joining us today. We've loved having you, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Cook30 for Kids! Woohoo!